What better way to break down what works and doesn't work in a short film than by critiquing real short films made by you, the viewer. Now we've got 5 or 6 short films here. They're all under 5 minutes long. I'm a fan of all of these in their own different way, and they range from kind of beginner level to a more advanced level. Let's jump into it. First one is called Adminning by Vinny Pagano. Solid first shot. Now this shot, not sure if this is intentional or not, but there's a lot of tension here. You see how all this negative space is on this side of the screen and our subject is all the way over here? Creates a lot of tension, like an unbalanced framing. Is that intentional or is it not? Well, we'll find out as the film progresses. The use of black and white is an interesting choice, especially considering that we have color with the text here. Was that scene necessary? We'll find out. Now, one thing I'm noticing already is that there's really no ambient audio here. We're only hearing the sound of the typewriter, which could be a stylistic choice, but I think it's more of a didn't do much sound design type of choice. Even just having some distant sound of like an office telephone ringing or traffic outside or some birds outside to kind of show that, hey, there's a whole vibrant life waiting for him after he clocks out in a few minutes here, would add some life to the scene to me. Some very quick cuts here, lots of coverage. I don't know, I'm kind of wanting some build in the sound design or maybe some music. And we got the classic relatable scenario of retyping the same simple email 50 times. Like, don't you just want something going on sound-wise right here? It just feels, the palette just feels too blank here. I mean, visually, he's doing a lot to like ramp it up and kind of keep the cuts going faster and keeping you on edge a little bit. Another interesting thing is that the text is so pixelated in this one angle. But if you notice, like the shots of the clock on the computer screen, super sharp. So I think either one can work, but I would like to see consistency there in that choice. Now we've got some music, keyboard music. I like it. And I like this montage of different sign-offs. I mean, he's turning sending an email into an action scene, which I enjoy.
Yeah, before you take off, I just want to grab that expense report.
Dialogue audio is clean.
Oh, the sexual harassment web training, that needs to be completed by next Friday. You could just shoot off a quick company-wide email, let everybody know that. That'll be great. Thanks.
Great, love it. The most difficult of emails to send is on his plate now. All right, that's a garage fire film for you. I think the biggest takeaways are I didn't mind the black and white cinematography, but I do feel like it was generally kind of like, this shot's pretty nice looking. There's a little bit of depth in the frame back there. But one of the early shots, let's see where it is. This one didn't do much for me. It just felt more awkward than anything. And this shot too, you notice how there's just no depth in the frame here. You've got the subject and then the wall is just right there. It's just kind of flat looking. There's actually a little bit of depth here. I think if I was shooting this, I would probably want to play this up more, knowing that I'm jammed into the corner here. Or I would just try to move the desk entirely so that the blocking of the entire film isn't just kind of like shoved into this corner, and we can set ourselves up for success more with some more interesting compositions. Minor notes overall, well done. And this is clearly a low budget short. A lot of time was taken in the edit. It gets pretty nutty here, especially with the split screens. I did enjoy them a lot. This section in particular, awesome. It reminded me of I don't know if you saw the video on my YouTube channel about editing the film Missing, where they had to recreate the entire Mac OS user interface in Illustrator files so that they could zoom in infinitely on these little like text or icons anywhere on the screen, and it would be crystal clear sharp so that they could project it in a movie theater and everything would look sharp. But great job, and let's hear what Vinny has to say about this. I intended it to be black and white to highlight the monotony of the main character's existence, but I know that might come across as pretentious or cliche. I didn't think it was pretentious. It wasn't even that cliche either. I think it's just a choice you made, and it's totally working. I think just more dynamic lighting and compositions would have just made the cinematography stronger, and then that would be that. Interesting thing about the project, didn't want to use royalty-free music, so during filming I used my Zoom H6 to record a bunch of office supplies, edited those sounds together in post to create the score. Awesome, I love that. That's kind of what we did with our first feature, Bad is Bad. We used things that we would find in the kitchen, like a spatula or a whisk or whatever, and we made all the music using those things, like banging them together and doing a bunch of weird stuff. Okay, onwards. We got a short film from Matthew Gomez called A.S.K. 3 minutes long. Let's take a look. Christmas time. This is nice. I like the lighting. Pretty good composition. Looking good. And notice this one already, we have some ambience in the background here. I'm hearing some birds. I'm hearing some walla, we call it, when there's like a crowd of people indistinctly murmuring at the same time.
That's Alan Chadwick.
Who's that?
What do you mean, who's that? He's only the
Great fake
biggest
name,
film producer
Alan
in
Chadwick.
the industry.
Love it.
Bro, you should go talk to him.
The amount of time we used to spend creating fake names for characters was disproportionate to the amount of time that we should have been doing it. I also like how this guy appears to be typing nonsense down here, but I can't quite tell for certain.
I don't know. Hello, sir. My name is Isaac Smith.
I like what he did there. I like that choice. He jumped ahead. So he kind of fooled us by cutting into the close-up. You think he's going to be talking back
Hello,
to his
sir.
friend
My
again,
name-
but he's already ahead and now talking to the guy.
My name is Isaac
See where it
Smith.
goes.
I'm an aspiring writer and director, and I love your work. I wanted to come over here and introduce myself.
Another one. Match cut. Beautiful. Cutting ahead in time. These shots are very difficult on a low budget. Oh, we have a bunch of fancy transitions here. I think we might have storyboarded this one ahead of time. And it shows. And another. Moving up in the world. You got a lot of extras for this.
Cut!
Hold on, let's wind it back a little bit. Transitions are just getting fancier and fancier here. Look at this one. We masked out this woman wiping frame here to do the transition wipe.
Cut. All right, guys, that's a wrap.
So, what was your
Props for this short, because from a production standpoint, this stuff is so annoyingly difficult to do, to get all these people to come together to take part in your short, even if they just have to be there for a half an hour. Getting a dozen people in one room is just so annoying.
process
no
for
money.
creating such a unique and intelligent story?
Well, I'm still kind of learning the ropes of everything. You know, this is my first film, and it has its ups and downs.
You
but
can
I feel
see
like I'm getting
some areas where corners got cut, though.
Process.
Now, I think this set is probably the weakest set that we've seen so far. This is kind of where some shortcuts were made. I think you could have made this look a little bit more like a talk show set just by extending this black curtain back here to cover all this up. And I would probably just lose this little Oscar statue. It's doing more harm than good. And if you had time, you know, something on this table here, because when he moves his hand, I think it looks a little
Unique and intelligent.
yeah, just, oh, it's a little chest. I would put some kind of drape or something over that. And all those things would help just a little bit.
Story.
Well, I'm still kind of learning the ropes of everything. You know, this is my first film, and it has its ups and downs, but I feel like I'm getting a good handle.
Right. My name is Seth. This is Spicy Things, where the questions are spicy and the guests are even spicier.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It keeps ramping
Happy
up.
to have you, man. Yeah, thank you for coming on. Tell us a little.
Is Isaac Smith still directing movies? This is only my first one. Okay, look, we got a TV show coming out.
The hair.
There's a lot of clever choices being made here, by the way, because you can tell that he has access to some kind of like studio, right? Like there's backdrops and stuff. The whole part where he's walking through the crew, that's like a little production studio space. You can create a pretty close version of Hot Ones just with any backdrop and
Have
studio
you, man.
space.
Yeah, thank you for coming
And a bald
on.
man.
Tell us a little.
Is Isaac Smith
Same with this
still
one.
directing
Just
movies?
takes a chair.
This is only
on
my
a
first one.
white
Okay, look, we got a TV show coming out.
The hair. I gotta ask about the hair. The hair.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, I just try to stick.
It does
with
look better
the,
in
old
close-up
watershed.
here.
And so you've had quite a journey, starting as a production assistant.
Most definitely. Honestly, like I said, I was just always waiting for someone just to give me a chance. I'll go get someone
Fancy.
coffee. I'll go get someone anything that they want, just to show them that I am the guy. Because I'm gonna keep directing until the day I die. Let's see. Next one is Isaac Smith directing.
Round of applause, everybody.
I feel like we want to ramp up.
Significantly spicier.
Ramp up. Ramping. It's ramping.
My name is in there, but I feel like I'm
Okay, I will say I feel like that ramp up wasn't the best because we reused so many shots that we've already seen. Now, granted, if you're gonna do a montage where you suddenly start flashing images, you don't want to have to go out and shoot 100 new setups just so you can cover 5 seconds of your film. I'm not saying that, but I think you could have maybe shortened some of that whole buildup of the montage of the dreams and the fantasy and all that, just for the purpose of saving a few shots to throw in there so that they weren't all angles that we've already seen, which it seemed like they were. And that would just add a little bit of more freshness and, like, honestly, production value to that sudden ramp up part right there. It was all a dream. Missed opportunities. It was good. I liked it. One thing, this is totally like a directing thing, but like on paper, this shot's great. But then in reality, when you're on set, it's not the most flattering for the actor. So it's just something to keep in mind. You know, if you don't have like a makeup department or whatever, then you have to be the one that's looking out for your actors. And I like this coming to frame, turning around. It's well shot listed or storyboarded. You can tell. It tells a nice story. You know, somebody else shook the hand. Somebody else is going to live his dream. Thank you, Matthew Gomez. Now let's jump into the next one. This is called The Last Request. And from writing the full script to shooting to the final edit, this short film took a total of 7 hours of work, which is nuts. It was deliberately a speed run for a simple idea. I love that. Love to hear it. And I think it turned out great. Let's take a look. This is The Last Request by Hugs Are Optional. Written and directed by Caleb Stringini. I'm probably messing up all these names. I apologize. Love this first shot. Great landscape. Jumping straight into it. We love that. This is a particularly difficult type of shot to get without any additional lighting or grip gear because it's just super bright white wall getting slammed with sun, and then you got shadow right next to it. Really going to push the dynamic range of whatever you're shooting on. Same with this white door. I wonder if they planned out the time of day to shoot it though, because the sun must have been pretty low. If you look at where their shadows are, they're straight on. If the sun was directly overhead right here, this would look very ugly. But right now, it looks great.
Freeze! Put your hands up! Drop the needle. Drink it! Walter?
Solid blood spurt. Okay. Up until now, things have looked pretty good and like passable, especially with the editing, the pacing, everything's just moving and going. Had that great blood hit when he got shot. This title really throws it though. It's giving Windows Movie Maker. You know what I'm saying? My recommendation to beginner filmmakers is if you're not confident with graphic design or anything like that, just like downplay, just like less is more, you know, do something that's clean and minimal and simple, and that'll give you the best shot at it looking good. Also, the other general rule of thumb is smaller titles tend to look better and slicker and more professional. So like the title itself is good. I just feel like different font choice, color, and potentially different animation into it would really do a lot. Because when you have one title in a film, it's like, make it good, make it hit, you know what I'm saying?
Hello, we need an ambulance at 6767 Woodville Drive. A man's been shot. Please hurry.
I like that it keeps the
Stay with
sunglasses
me.
on.
The ambulance will be here soon.
No, I'm not gonna make it.
Don't say that.
I can feel it. This is the end. I want to see my son
Nice
one
cutaway.
last time.
I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
He has a YouTube channel.
What's the channel name?
It's Super Gamer Archie.
Super Gamer Archie.
No spaces.
No spaces. All right. Okay. Is this it?
No, scroll down a little bit.
This one?
Yeah, he looks more like me in that one.
Good.
His performances are killer. The guy who's
And-
dying is just...
We're playing.
Content creators, are you
And we're
tired of
playing.
making unprofessional, sloppy-looking YouTube videos? What you need to do is learn to use a damn
Sorry. It's an ad.
Gimbals are the best way to become
There's 30. I can't skip it. There's 30 seconds left in it. Just
Music is great. I mean, when you're doing like a spoof or a parody like this, you have to know enough about the genre and the type of film that you're parodying to be able to do it well, and then just, you know, change out what's happening for a ridiculous situation. So they got the right music, they've got the right angles, the lighting is good enough, they got clean audio, like everything on a technical level is like good enough for it to work. And if it wasn't good enough, the comedy wouldn't work as well either. It was the interesting thing. That's why Key and Peele were so killer at what they did, because they were able to do these parodies of like Rambo or something like that, but it looks really legit at first, and then as it turns into something ridiculous, you're still along for the ride, and the comedy just works even better. Same thing with the Almost Friday guys on YouTube and Chris and Jack on YouTube, like really good sketch comedy channels that kind of blur the line between what even is a sketch and just an actual film.
Just a little bit
If you want
long.
to be a part of that damn industry, then click the link
Damn
and
it,
head on
come on,
over to
hurry up.
Filming Movie and take our Giga Gimbal
Stay with
course
me.
and learn to become a Giga Gimbal god.
Walter, you still with me? Come on.
I love the fake
Okay.
commercial.
3,
My
2,
organs.
and
Have
here.
you ever
My
considered the
organs.
question,
Damn it, a second ad. It's also 30 seconds, but just hold on. Just a little bit. Oh gosh. Walter, stay with me. 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds.
Ramping it up with the blood coming out.
We promise to bring you the highest quality product.
In there.
That's water with
Don't
two
fade out on me.
Now this one, the focus is kind of going in and out. It's starting to lose me. And also the framing is really rough on this shot. I can see why this happened, because they're trying to get this guy in frame, and they're also trying to get this guy in frame. So that's why it's tough. This guy, if he had stayed super low, then it would have worked out. But I think the cameraman right now is trying to like follow, but keep them both in the frame. And then what you end up with is getting a severe haircut on his framing here. I think the only thing you could have really done would be to get the camera way lower on like a hi-hat or something and angle up past this guy on the ground's face instead of being above his face already and trying to still get this guy that's above him. So if you're below or like at level with his face, shooting up past it, then you have a lot more freedom with your framing.
On. Okay, and done. Okay, now let me just turn up the brightness. Okay, perfect.
Hey guys, this is Super Gamer
Walter, it's your son.
Today we're gonna play Roller Coaster Tycoon. I just want to give a shout
Walter?
out to all my Patriot supporters. We just hit
Walter.
the
Even the voice of the kid is great.
last video,
You
guys.
can hear the retainer.
Let's go.
Walter.
Yeah, I don't quite buy the police light in the background. That looks pretty phony, but it doesn't really matter at this point. And again, the end credits font's the same as the opening title font. It's just a little too cartoony. I feel like I'm about to see, I don't know, Beetlejuice or The Mask or something with this, as opposed to, if you want to rip off the title font of one of your favorite movies that's actually in this genre, and then your work is done for you. Just grab like Mystic River's opening title font or something. And look how small this crew was. 7 hours they made this thing in. Awesome. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what they would do with a longer production timeline than 7 hours. All right. Good job. Hugs are optional. Give them a like and a follow. And I'm going to put all of the channels in the description here. Give them a subscribe. Give them thumbs up. Support your fellow filmmakers. And if you want to see your film featured as one of these critiques, then go to standardstoryco.com and join Friday Film Notes, my free weekly newsletter for filmmakers. 10,000 of you are already reading it every week, and I'll put another call for entries in the near future so you can submit me your shorts. All right, we got a great short film next. Oh, lunch is here by our dear sponsor, Factor. How would you like to get chef-prepared meals on your table in 2 minutes flat? Well, Factor's ready-to-eat meals let you do that so you can get back to soaking up this beautiful summer sun. Factor meals just eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, and cleaning up food every time you want to eat. You simply heat it up, savor the good stuff, and I personally hate the struggle every day of just trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat. Do I have time to go to the grocery store? Should I blow like $20 on takeout for lunch today? Especially since I'm about to go into pre-production on my next film. I'm gonna be a lot more busy, and just having a fridge full of these Factor meals frees up a lot of time and decisions every day so that I can focus more on the stuff I actually want to focus on making this film and less on what am I eating today. And they're totally flexible. You can change your order up every week so you're getting different food. You can choose plans between 4 and 18 meals per week, and you can pause or reschedule your deliveries whenever you want if you're going to be out of town, for example. But head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code STANDARDSTORY50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code STANDARDSTORY50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Thanks, Factor. That was delicious. Let's go on to the next film, huh? All right, so this next one is called Bottled Treasure by Santiago Musacchio. Hope I got your name right. Here we go.
When I was 7.
Okay, since we're talking about titles already, notice how this title is huge and fills up the frame, but it looks kind of nice, right? To me, opening titles, they look great when they're either quite small in the frame or just huge in the frame and taking up the whole thing. And I don't think there's that much room in between. So that is just my simpleton layman graphic design tip that I've picked up. Small titles or big titles in the middle is when it starts to look clunky and not that polished. But again, notice this is just a really simple, clean, minimal font over a simple, clean, minimal backdrop. So it just looks a little nicer.
I solved a mystery. See that bottle? That was the first clue. And that's me.
Nice.
That was the beginning of my grand adventure.
Well shot so far, framing up that bottle in the wave. Wonder how many times it took tossing the bottle out before the waves cooperated.
The note read, "A treasure is yours if you choose to seek. I warn you though, it's not for the weak. If you accept my quest for you, I'll help you out with a clue."
Oh, look at
Home
this.
of the bird.
Look at this tracked motion graphics of the text popping out on the note as he reads it.
Under the third. Think you're tough? Call my bluff.
That's a nice little effect. Was it necessary? No, I don't think so. If these clues come back later on in the short, then it's going to be nice to have seen those words highlighted in that way. One thing that I'll say about this narration, which is funny because I just did this video about narration last week, is I do feel like the audio quality of the narration itself isn't the best. Like I want it to sound deep and sonorous and really present, and it just sounds a little tinny and not very full. So when you're doing a narration voiceover like this, try to get the best possible audio quality however you can. It should be easier because you're in post now and you can record and re-record and make sure that your setup is as controlled as possible.
Bird under the third. Think you're tough? Call my bluff. The game was afoot. Home of the bird, possibly a nest, but why the third? The paper had oil stains and the bottle had dry dirt inside, which meant the seal held, and the dirt inside was the same as when it was bottled with the clue. If I could find a dirt sample which matched that inside the bottle, I could confirm the location of the
Moving
treasure.
fast.
I found a series of possible matches, but I needed more.
We're starting to abuse some of the little quick whooshes, in my opinion. Even the camera flash effect, it's nice, and it was very effective in the beginning, but now we're starting to approach like, okay, let's drop that and kind of move on to something new editorially.
And the oil, it wasn't a natural occurrence, and it wasn't a mistake. It was a clue. They were telling me the species of the tree. It must have been eucalyptus oil, under the third home of the bird. It was under the third tree. But the third
I love
tree
how quickly
where?
this is
Call my
moved.
bluff. Call my bluff. Bluff wasn't a taunt. It was a landmark. A bluff as in an ocean cliff. I had solved it. The treasure was buried under the third eucalyptus tree on the bluffs. And yet, it wasn't there. What was I missing?
Lots of coverage, lots of solid cinematography throughout. Honestly, the sound is more lacking than anything. I really want that narration to just pop.
Home of the bird under the third.
Okay, we got more of the text coming up.
Tree on the bluffs.
I'm starting to like it more now because it's more integrated into the entire short. Now, if it was just popping up over the note as you read it in that one scene, then I'd be like, seems a little extra, maybe for no reason. But now that it's filling the frame back here in like different ways, it's more integrated into the film, and I'm liking it.
That's it. And then it hit me. It had to be under the third tree.
I like that little sound design moment. Dropping the music, bringing in this bass drone, bringing it back up. Kid actors have so much fun in scenes like this. Well done. Part of the style of this film too, with like the tons of coverage they got, might be partially because they're working with child actors. When you're working with child actors, that is just, get that coverage. You're gonna want it later on. It just makes everything so much easier when you, and it makes it easier for the kid if you don't have to like nail a perfect take emotionally and the timing and all that stuff. You can just be like, oh, that was good. Okay, I'm going to flip it around and get this, and then I can cut it together. And, you know, I don't have to berate a child on set yet again for messing up a great take. I don't do that.
Found no gold? Do not dismay. The real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
It was at that moment I realized that I had just spent an entire weekend accomplishing absolutely nothing. Man, I missed that.
It's good. Yeah, if it had just ended on the real treasure was the friends we made along the way, obviously that would be very cliche and sappy. Oh, great. The gardener's here, folks. Doesn't he know I have a YouTube channel? Doesn't he know?
All right,
behind
here's
the
the gear
scenes.
we shot this thing on. Our camera was this 5D Mark III that worked pretty well considering it was older than both of our actors. When we were outside, our lens was the Canon 24-105 f4, and
I just bought that lens.
indoors it was the Canon 50mm prime f1.8. We had to use this Feel World monitor since the 5D screen is way too dark to see anything, and we used this Ronin S for our tracking and moving shots. Voiceover audio was done with this Blue Yeti microphone, and the on-location dialogue was picked up with this Tascam DR10L. And our lights were this
Maybe that
softbox
Blue
that I
Yeti
got
is the
2 of
culprit.
on Amazon for $80. And there you go. That's all it takes to make this film.
Nice. I mean, you can see how minimal the shoot was. It's really just looks like a director slash DP kind of covering all the action. They did have a decent amount of production design. They had to do like these little setups for this swashbuckling mystery tale, but they did a good job. It felt kind of appropriately childlike, but still competent, you know? Oh, and by the way, I think the only reason they included this little breakdown behind the scenes thing was it was for a contest or challenge to use under $2,500 worth of gear equipment. So purposely done with the cheapest gear we had access to. All right, well done. I mean, it was entertaining, and working with child actors always poses a lot of challenges. And I like some of the attention to detail here, like the bottle looks good, it looks weathered, the paper looks pretty good.
A treasure. I can confirm the location of the treasure.
And it seems like they took time to actually write out the clues and make it clever and thought out. So good job. Thank you, Skypig Films. All right, the last two are a little more polished than the others. And as a big fan, let's jump into this one. I'll Call You Back. Only 3 minutes long. Let's see what they were able to pull off.
Oh no. Oh no. Jim.
Good composition.
He's not
Good
moving.
lighting.
I don't know what to
Nice
do.
camera movement.
Oh, please.
Great.
Yeah, okay, not that.
What an effective intro, right? There's so much going on. I feel like it's worth breaking this all down. We've got this shot, strong composition. See this woman's feet, see this guy's feet. He's clearly not doing well. We're in a basement.
Jim! He's not moving.
Little slider shot here, get a little bit of blood. And then I love her wardrobe. It feels like scary old grandma clothes in a younger woman. And I believe that she would kill somebody. I don't know, I just get that vibe. Like she could seem innocent, but she could also just murder you with a hammer. I believe it. And also, is this a period film? I don't know. She's using a older wireless telephone, so maybe that's where the sweater is coming from. Performance is great. Sound quality is great. Cinematography is all you need. You know, as far as the lighting goes. It's simple, but it's effective. Strong lighting where we're getting good harsh shadows down here. This practical. I wonder if this is actually doing all of the work lighting her face. Probably not, because it looks like it's kind of far away and more behind her. So there probably is a soft box over here that's kind of like coming down on her. But probably just a one light setup plus this practical. And then over here you even have a little accent light with a color temperature variation. It's blue. Daylight maybe coming through a little window. I'm not sure what that is, but it's just a nice little touch. But the performance is really taking center stage here. She nailed it.
Yeah, okay,
That first line read of, okay, not that.
Maybe it's... Jim, please wake up.
I also used this exact same music track from Artlist in my editor versus his high school short film video when I re-edited my old horror short film.
He's not moving.
Must be a popular one.
No.
I am a trendsetter.
I need an ambulance.
Again, nice cinematography here. Just very simple techniques at play, but you see how we've got, again, kind of like a softer light coming down on her here. No fill, or maybe actually a very little bit of fill coming from back here, almost like a rim. But importantly, just the color temperature contrast here with this blue light splashing on this wall back here, and potentially another blue light, just giving her a little bit of fill from back there. But it's just simple but effective, does the job.
We're at number 37, Nightingale Place. Please send someone quickly. He's not breathing. He's not breathing. He's not breathing. He's dead. He's dead.
Unfortunately, this actor is doing a great job
dead.
because this is
Quite dead.
all monologue. The other thing they're doing that's nice is she's delivering monologue, but she's also doing stuff. You see how she's like putting the gloves on, she's taking the hammer, she's noticing blood on the table. There's still things happening. It's not just her doing a monologue in a void, you know, of plot, a void of plot. Fun perspective angle. That blood looks a little bit like jelly or jam. I'm gonna get nitpicky.
I told him to be careful. But I was sorry. I was upstairs and
But you notice how when the action
I
stops,
heard this noise.
it starts to feel a little slower. Like I feel like if we had something for her to do still or throughout the entire thing, as opposed to her just like she cleaned up the stains, she got the thing out of the box, but now she's stopped again and she's still doing the monologue. And to me, the pacing dips right here. So if we had something more for her to do, you know, she had to like take his clothes and she's putting them in a big barrel that she's about to light on fire, whatever it is, that would keep the story moving on top of her monologue.
He was yelling. He was talking to someone, like he was yelling at someone to stop. No, it's okay. I can carry on.
I like this. They're keeping it visually interesting though. Like now we're jumped into this really wide angle lens shot, really close up on the actor, giving us more distortion in the frame, making her look a little more crazy. It gives the impression that somebody's a little more crazy when you get the lens right up on them like that with the wide angle.
I heard all this yelling. And then... And then... And then... And then, and then, and then...
And you notice the little bit of sound design they're doing to help along the performance. Like she did a great job bouncing between the fake performance and critiquing her own performance, but the sound design, listen to it as it
and then.
helps that transition. Really nice.
Oh no, it's Jim. He's not moving. Oh no, it's Jim. He's not moving. Sob, sob, sob. Cry, cry, cry.
By the way, look at the crew here. We've got 2 writer-directors, 2 actors, and a first AD. Pretty minimal.
Oh no, it's Jim. He's not moving. I'll call you back.
Great last line, which is also the title. It really finishes the story strong. You know that she's about to murder this man. AKA she's going to have a reason to call them back. Am I just explaining the joke too much? I don't know, but I thought it was quite effective. Now at 3 minutes, about 3 minutes on the dot for the actual story, and then you get the credits for a little bit. Also respect for the fact that the credits are appropriately short. They don't drag on for an additional 2 minutes after the story is actually ended. I think that as is, this probably still could have been cut down by like, I don't know, 30 seconds maybe. It's just those moments where she doesn't actually have anything to do physically and she's just practicing the monologue still. This pacing dropped too much for me. So I wanted her to still have things to do, which effectively keeps the story moving ahead, at least the plot element of the story moving ahead. So yeah, I would have just bullet pointed out like, okay, she's gonna burn his clothes, she's gonna write a fake suicide note, whatever it is, and she can be doing those things while she's practicing, and then pacing stays solid for me. But loved that short. Great job to David Harding, Thomas Young, Madeline Hatt, Simon Stollard, Georgia Rose. Solid 5-person team. Got together, probably shot this in one night, and it looks really slick and polished, right? A lot of that's in the post, but a lot of that's in the production too. They knew how to light, they knew how to shoot it, and they had great performers. And that's it. They just shot it in somebody's basement. And lastly, but not leastly, we have the one that probably has the most production value of any of the ones that we've seen so far. It's called Peanuts. And although it is technically over 5 minutes long, a lot of that last minute is credits, and it's an interesting film and I wanted to include it. So let's jump into Peanuts, submitted by Derek Hughes.
1, 2, 3.
Here you are, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, so immediately we're 8 seconds in, and what do you feel from this? Like, what's your impression of the film just from the very, very beginning? To me, I'm like, okay, this is polished. This is highly polished. We got some sound editing from this song that cuts into a diegetic version of the song that's playing in the store speakers. It immediately starts with an action, like giving this guy this
have a good one
purchase, and then he wipes frame. It's dynamic.
Still good to stick around and put this shit away?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, thanks. I owe you.
We have the was undoubtedly actual employee of this store, and a cameo here.
We are closing in 5 minutes. Please bring all purchases to the front. Thank you.
And it looks pretty nice.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow, dude.
This shot looks great. I'm wondering if this is real, the Stitch in Time shop. It looks like it could either be composited in, or that's the actual name of that shop right there.
Yeah. We can watch it tonight whenever I get home. I'll be home in like an hour or so.
There's a soft glow on the highlights.
I swear to God, if you watch it without me, I'm leaving you this evening.
I don't know if that's filtration, like some kind of pro mist filter, or what.
No, I'm just... The fuck is this? No, sorry, no, I was talking to myself. Listen, I gotta go. I got stuff I have to do. Okay. I love you too.
I'm not sure if this phone call was needed in the film. It's really, he's just finding a tape and he's putting it in. I guess it establishes that he has a loved one, but I don't know if that's needed for this. Again, nice cinematography throughout. The lighting, color palette. This looks like it was nicely colored. It gets stranger from here. A little soft on the focus.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
I love a confident cut like that, a hard cut. That's creepy.
Fucking townies.
I don't know. while I love this shot and kind of the idea of this shot of this woman out here, part of me wishes it was even wider than that. There's something about seeing a figure out in the distance and like not getting a lot of detail, but wanting that detail that makes it a little creepier. But then again, I don't know what this parking lot looks like. That might have been an impossibility anyways. But I do like the idea of seeing this in the wide here. With just the one street light overhead illuminating her. Yeah, I like the cool tones, the cool color palette throughout this. Lots of blues, whites, not much warmth. Works for the story, I think. But it's cool color palette in a way that's not cheesy. Like one of the easiest things to do with horror shorts, especially for beginners, is to think, okay, I want it to be creepy looking, I want it to be scary, so I'm gonna give it like a lot of blue lighting. And then you just blast your actors' faces with blue, and everything is blue, and it just looks kind of crappy. Like you need actual skin tone, like you see right here. We have like a fairly natural looking skin tone. Now this is pretty desaturated, but it's still like a natural skin tone. And then everything around him, including his clothing, which is a part of the color palette, like these are important choices to make, are much cooler and more blue. The lighting itself is probably just more white than anything. It's just like maybe like a cool white, like a 6,000 degrees or 6,500 or something like that, but it's not over the top Party City blue. Old music and weird animations like this are always creepy.
Yep, no thank you. Alright.
We've switched into handheld now.
What the fuck? Okay, that's fucking terrifying.
Love that reverb on the music.
Excuse me, we're closed.
Great.
How the hell did you get in here?
I love this song.
It's starting to feel David Lynchy, right?
Get out now!
Creepy. We'll go back to that jump scare in a minute. I don't want to break the flow too much.
You shouldn't have gone in there. He's in there.
One of the easiest effects with horror, just turn off the lights in part of the scene. Looking into pure darkness is always going to be effective, and having a character emerge from pure darkness. Nutty. Peanutty. Okay, and that is Peanuts. Real quick, before we talk about anything, great job with the end credits here. Look at this font choices. Look how small in the frame. We got the thin title font and then the thicker, bolder name fonts right there. Lowercase, uppercase, tasteful. Okay? Take notes, folks. All right, let's talk about this one. Wild, right? Had a lot going on. First of all, let's go back to this jump scare real quick.
Get out now!
it definitely worked. It creeped me out the first time I saw it, but I had a feeling that, okay, the light goes out behind him, he turns around, and then the sound design sweeps up hard. It's actually kind of like that artless music track. Is that the second one that has used this? Very funny how popular that track is. I'll have to maybe not use that one in the future, but it turns back around. I'm kind of feeling like this scare might have been creepier if the sound had gone down before she screams at him. But I don't know, I'd have to see it both ways. There's no real science to this. Because, you know, it was already up, so I feel like that hit and bringing the sound design in as she says that might have been creepier.
In there. He's in there.
Now, I definitely don't understand this film from a story perspective, except that he put on a tape and I guess it summoned this peanut guy.
Do you want one?
But also, do we need to understand it? And great makeup on this hand, by the way. Maybe the nail is like a press-on nail and I can kind of tell here, but it looks great overall. And then you have this wacky sequence, which is almost feels like something out of Mandy. And I don't know how they got this one visual at the end of it. See if we can frame by frame our way there. Yeah, wild. I don't know if that's AI generated or what, but well done. And another great thing about the credits is they got the backdrop of the peanut animation. Anything you can do to the credits to just give it a little something, you know, whether that's a little bit of music, a little bit of footage that you didn't use in the film, or something that just kind of brings back something from earlier in the film. If you're going to watch this at a film festival, for example, you're watching these back to back to back, and then you have to sit through the credits for each one. The credits become so tiresome so quickly. So it's nice to do something like this. Just softens the blow of those credits, especially because, you know, he had a decent amount of people working on this. Sound operator, second AC, makeup artist, production assistant. I like how, for us, that's like a lot of people, but yeah, he didn't have that many people. He had maybe a half a dozen people. But well done, Derek Hughes. I think with horror, you know, you really don't need to explain everything, and it's better. I would much rather watch a horror short film that attempted to explain nothing than one that actually attempted to like tell you, okay, well, here's the peanut guy, here's where he came from, here's why he likes peanuts so much. I don't really need all that. The peanut vendor animation and song, part of public domain. So we probably found these old things and like, that's kind of creepy. Could probably use that in a creepy short film, and then boom, you get peanuts. Thank you everybody for submitting your films. I know it's very scary to submit your film for a public critique. So give these guys some props, subscribe to their channels. I'll put the links in the descriptions. And if you want to submit your short film, join Friday Film Notes, my free newsletter at standardstoryco.com. I'm not accepting submissions right now, but when I am accepting submissions for new short films for this now monthly series I'm going to be doing where I break down your short films, then I will put out that call on that newsletter. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope this got you inspired to go make something yourself. Let's make some movies, huh?